When your friends begin to flatter you on how young you look, it's a sure sign you're getting old. Golf is a good walk spoiled. The very ink with which history is written is merely fluid prejudice. There is no sadder sight than a young pessimist, but who prays for Satan, who, in 18 centuries, has had the common humanity to pray for the one sinner that needed it most. Patriot, the person who can holler the loudest without knowing what he is hollering about. Laws control the lesser man. Right conduct controls the greater one. Everything has its limit. Iron ore cannot be educated into gold. It is by the goodness of God that in our country we have those three unspeakably precious things: freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, and the prudence never to practice either of them. Sometimes too much to drink is barely enough. Many a small thing has been made large by the right kind of advertising. I never smoke to excess, that is, I smoke in moderation, only own a cigar at a time. If the world comes to an end, I want to be in Cincinnati. Everything comes there 10 years later. A man is never more truthful than when he acknowledges himself a liar. If man could be crossed with the cat, it would improve man, but deteriorate the cat. When angry, count to 4. When very angry, swear. When people do not respect us, we are sharply offended. Yet in his private heart no man much respects himself. Apparently there is nothing that cannot happen today. It were not best that we should all think alike. It is difference of opinion that makes horse races. Often it does seem such a pity that Noah and his party did not miss the boat. Thousands of geniuses live and die, undiscovered either by themselves or by others. A person with a new idea is a crank until the idea succeeds. Do not tell fish stories where the people know you, but particularly, don't tell them where they know the fish. Why is it that we rejoice at a birth and grieve at a funeral? It is because we are not the person involved. Man will do many things to get himself loved. He will do all things to get himself envied. When in doubt, tell the truth. The trouble ain't that there is too many fools, but that the lightning ain't distributed right. Man was made at the end of the week's work, when God was tired. Necessity is the mother of taking chances. The man who does not read good books has no advantage over the man who cannot read them. All emotion is involuntary when genuine. Noise proves nothing. Often a hen who has merely laid an egg cackles, as if she laid an asteroid. Principles have no real force except when one is well fed. Loyalty to the nation all the time. Loyalty to the government when it deserves it. The man who is a pessimist before 48 knows too much. If he is an optimist after it, he knows too little. Few things are harder to put up with than the annoyance of a good example. She was not quite what you would call refined. She was not quite what you would call unrefined. She was the kind of person that keeps a parrot. Training is everything. The peach was once a bitter almond. Cauliflower is nothing but cabbage with a college education. A man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. Honesty is the best policy, when there is money in it. I didn't attend the funeral, but I sent a nice letter saying I approved of it. Under certain circumstances, urgent circumstances, desperate circumstances, profanity provides a relief denied even to prayer. I was seldom able to see an opportunity, until it had ceased to be one. It is curious that physical courage should be so common in the world and moral courage so rare. Work consists of whatever a body is obliged to do. Play consists of whatever a body is not obliged to do. The more you explain it, the more I don't understand it. It is easier to stay out than get out. Wit is the sudden marriage of ideas which, before their union, were not perceived to have any relation. Man is the only animal that blushes, or needs to. Truth is the most valuable thing we have. Let us economize it. Let us not be too particular. It is better to have old second-hand diamonds than none at all. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. It is better to take what does not belong to you than to let it lie around neglected. Soap and education are not as sudden as a massacre, but they are more deadly in the long run. Don't say the old lady screamed. Bring her on and let her scream. Familiarity breeds contempt and children. Truth is mighty and will prevail. There is nothing wrong with this, except that it ain't so. There are people who can do all fine and heroic things but one keep from telling their happiness to the unhappy. There are several good protections against temptation, but the surest is cowardice. The finest clothing made is a person's own skin, but, of course, society demands something more than this. My books are like water. Those of the great geniuses are wine. Fortunately, everybody drinks water. Against the assault of laughter, nothing can stand. Education consists mainly of what we have unlearned. To refuse awards is another way of accepting them with more noise than is normal. Lord, save us all from old age and broken health and a hope tree that has lost the faculty of putting out blossoms. The more things are forbidden, the more popular they become. Work is a necessary evil to be avoided. The main difference between a cat and a lie is that a cat only has 9 lives. In the spring, I have counted 136 different kinds of weather inside of 24 hours. The educated Southerner has no use for an R except at the beginning of a word. Optimist, daydreamer more elegantly spelled. I have never taken any exercise, except sleeping and resting, and I never intend to take any. I was gratified to be able to answer promptly. And I did. I said I didn't know. Biographies are but the clothes and buttons of the man. The biography of the man himself cannot be written. When red-haired people are above a certain social grade, their hair is auburn. It is just like man's vanity and impertinence to call an animal dumb because it is dumb to his dull perceptions. India has 2 million gods and worships them all. In religion, all other countries are paupers. India is the only millionaire. Good breeding consists in concealing how much we think of ourselves and how little we think of the other person.